I'm getting the message that someone thinks they're more powerful than you because they've unlocked the secret to your magic, when in reality, I don't think there's a secret to your magic at all. Maybe you're just working with the right energies. Maybe the secret to your magic isn't a secret at all, because to feel more powerful in your magic, you know you have to work with your own self. You have to work with the shadow side of yourself. You have to work with all these different parts of yourself that you've integrated, healed, learned about, and sat through a process with. Creatively explored all these aspects together for the right purpose. And someone's almost trying to get into magic without exactly looking at really any of those topics. And it feels like the cliche, somewhat, I'm just gonna light a candle and pray to it and hope that it works out, when they don't even know the energy that they're trying to tap into. They don't even know how a lot of what's distracting them in their mind is distracting them from any intention they want to just put in their spell work. Because I think the intention, no matter what it is, whether they're doing spell work for themselves or trying to, I hate to word it this way, trying to do magic on you, I'm just hearing it's not working. And it's not working because it's not going to reflect goodly, it's not going to reflect good on the otherworldly, like, sense that you have of magic and the spiritual realm and spiritual things. I feel like you're getting a great understanding of your magic recently. Like, you've been really, like, potent with your power. But I think what you've been exploring has been the idea that someone's trying to get this gift that was, like, meant for you. There's a gift of something that was meant for you, and someone's trying to take this universal gift that you just have already within you, and trying to take it and make it their own. Nine of Swords, Two of Cups. Yeah. You have someone coming from a very, very heavy, like, it says Nine of Arrows dedication, but their dedication is not towards themselves. It is towards you, and just in this energy of taking you down with them. They want to bring you into something that isn't necessarily for you, and all you're doing is the exact opposite, which is taking all of the hardship and the pain, the Nine of Swords stuff that you went through, having a conversation with yourself, going through the process of healing, transmuting, and just all aspects of, like, healing your mental, physical, and emotional health. Like, you've been, like, constantly in check with your mental, physical, and emotional health. So much so that you've been integrating two halves of yourself. You've been really integrating your whole self into yourself, and accepting all parts of you, even the bad and the ugly, or just the embarrassing, or just the things that make us feel not great about ourselves. And I think you've been getting very, very creative of how you've been handling this, but someone's wanting to take all of this credit. And I'm getting, how can they take your credit when they're not even you? They have nothing to show from it. There's nothing to work into fruition here. You've been the one to completely renovate your own tower. We have the Tower card here, the Blasted Oak. You've been the one to rebuild your own tower, and this person's been so destructive on trying to tear down the tower you're rebuilding. They're not noticing the tower that they are falling from. Maybe even, I'm hearing, a pedestal they are falling from. I'm getting people put someone on a pedestal. There's people that put someone on a pedestal. Someone was placed on a pedestal, and you're not exactly sure why, and exploring why hurts your own soul. I think trying to understand why. Ooh, maybe. I think. What would it be that like you want to explore why someone's been put on a pedestal, why you even put them on a pedestal, but even understanding why you put someone on a pedestal for a short time, because maybe they just didn't show their whole selves, they didn't show their true colors, and then when they did, you took them off that pedestal. Something about you taking someone off a pedestal has allowed other people to see the pedestal for what it is, but also it's kind of in this area of like you understand how people could respond to it even though you may not see it. I think everything you've been understanding about a situation has been like clear intuition working for you. Like you can see it clearly, you can see it clearer than anyone, even if the person's standing in the room with the elephant in the room, you are psychically aware of the elephant in the room, and that's all I've been really getting here. Ace of Wands, Spark of Life. Yeah, anytime your intuition has that, oh, maybe that's why, maybe these people feel this way, maybe the person that's on the pedestal is actually falling from this pedestal. Yep, you are correct. You don't even need to see it. And I think exploring the experience of other people and like seeing like, hey, well, how do they feel, or is this person still on this pedestal, like there's a level of curiosity that's like, if you're still on this pedestal, why do people praise that? And trying to wrap your head around that is trying to wrap your head around something that doesn't make sense because you wouldn't morally do it. You wouldn't drop your standards enough to put someone shitty on a pedestal. Like, you put good people on those pedestals. You put good people that are willing to do the work and deserve it. And even sometimes you've watched people build the pedestal themselves. Brick by goddamn brick is what it's is like sounding like and feeling like for this message. You've watched people build things brick by brick, and you want to praise that. You don't want to praise the people who were just handed this pedestal, kind of saying. And I feel like excuse me. I feel like you can really explore more of what you have to offer, but experiencing all of this currently right now has just been confusing you and confusing your path. And if you've been feeling like you've been, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, or you've just been feeling a bit down about your craft, your ability, your power to do something, your willpower, I want to say your creative vitality, the passion that is your life force almost. You keep that close to you, but sometimes when it's so close to you, you feel like you're being a little disingenuous about it, and it's not being disingenuous at all just because you're having a bad day. You're still you. Still you at the end of the day, and you're still that awesome you who's created all of those amazing things. You've created these things due to the work that you've been doing. You created these moments of self-reflection, pulling yourself out of the hurt and the pain that you were in, getting creative with, hey, I really need to rebuild myself because this tower isn't gonna last. And then seeing people trying to knock down the tower that you're rebuilding is almost a bit like the salt in the wound. It feels a little hurtful, but you understand that these are hurtful people, is what I'm hearing. Hurt people hurt other people. And I feel like anyone who's going to sit there and say, yes, I've done the work, I've done the work, I've done the work, has not done the work internally. Someone who's going to try and constantly convince people that they have like constantly been doing the work, they've been doing this, they've been working on that, this and the other. It sounds like the same old story of that has been peddled for like 7 years. Like they've constantly been trying to work on that part of themselves for like 7 years. I don't know why 7's a very like exact number. Could be 7 years, 7 months, 7 decades. If you're in your 70s. Excuse all of the little cuts. I'm just trying to make sure that My roommates are able to do what they need to do. They had to let the dogs out, so it was getting a little rowdy. Just want to cut that out to not distract you guys too much from the reading, because I keep getting, like, you get the reason why you can't understand this, like, exploration of this pedestal. Like, you understand why you won't be able to understand, because it's something you would never do yourself. You would never do this to anyone else. You would never ever make people feel codependent on you. Or, I'm hearing even just parasocial too. You wouldn't let people do that to you. And you wouldn't do that to people. Kind of a thing. Like, you are very clear and very honest about what you do and how you, I want to say, portray this act of magical power that you're doing. Like, you are portraying it in a very clear, generous, even honest way. That you're like, I'm willing to give this knowledge to more than just myself. I'm willing to give this knowledge to more than just me and, like, my friends around me. This is knowledge you want to give to the world. And it's almost like there's this air of, like, disingenuous being thrown at you. Like, I think there's a lot of interesting energies trying to throw you off balance, because it's like, no, that person's disingenuous. Trust me, they're not telling the truth. They're disingenuous. When in reality, to even do all of the healing that you've been doing and have done and continue, mind you, continue to do, you have completely removed disingenuousness from your life. The only way to be clear and to be honest to you of what you know you need to rebuild in your own heart after healing and integrating with yourself, you are very clear and honest about what you're communicating to yourself. You're very clear and communicative, clear in your communication, and very clearly being communicative. Now forgetting the word I just said. Silly. It's like communication is very, very clear on both ends. To yourself, the communication you have with your magical practice and with the universe and with spirit, your guides, whoever you work with or talk to on the other side. I think you've really rebuilt this in an honest way because you've had to. The only way to truly rebuild this in a strong way is to be completely honest with yourself. And I think you can't ignore that right now. You cannot ignore this level of dishonesty being thrown your way, because the only way you've been able to heal is to be completely honest about what doesn't serve you, what blocks you, what delays you, what is actually you just settling for something and not really seeing a bigger picture. You're not settling for that shit no more. You are really, really not settling for that no more. And I think you are sitting here dealing with people who are saying, well, I'm not settling with your disingenuousness. When that's kind of A, not the point, and B, not their part of what they need to be doing for their life. Like, they are constantly focusing on the 8 cups. This is 8 cups here, by the way, just to clarify. They're constantly focusing on what they feel like they need to settle on, because they feel like, well, life's not so great, so I have to settle with this. And they think that they're happy being completely honest that they are settling, when that complete honesty that is being had is being taken and misunderstood as that is the right thing to do in the moment, when in reality, when life says, yeah, you're settling, maybe that's a wake-up call to rebirth some ideas, to rebirth yourself into something new that you've explored more times than you could ever even count in your head. And this person has only explored it in the sense of, well, yeah, I'm settling, so I'm just going to continue to settle. Continuing to settle does not get anyone anywhere. And I want to know what else Spirit wants to say, has to say. And I'm very also, like, you are getting clear communication from your guides, spirit, universe. You are getting clear communication. Clear communication to your intuition as well. And clear intuition for yourself and just for everything that's happening around you. Like, I think you've been very much walking in your intuition. You're walking intuitive gut instinct kind of a thing. Like, you can't help but experience a gut instinct almost every single day, even if it's for the simpleness of like, oh, maybe I'll grab this drink, and then you walk away with the drink, and then you're like, no, I should probably go and get this one, is what your gut feeling tells you. So you go back and you switch drinks, but as you do it, you are there in perfect timing to open up the door, the beverage door, fridge door, for somebody else, for someone who may need a hand and is just gonna be a little tough trying to open it. Or maybe you just left it open. Hell, it's like the simplest thing of being there at the right time to do something as simple as an act of kindness of holding the door for somebody. And if you've experienced these little synchronicities and intuitive moments, do not ignore them. Do not ignore how potent that magic is. Because I'm getting some people need a little reminder of like how potent your energy actually really is at this moment in time. And I think what you need to be clear on is being clear on what makes you you, what you've worked on from the past, present, and into the future, you're continuing to work on, and how everyone else around whatever situation was of the past is continuing to settle for less. You are continuing to settle for truth, is what you're doing. And truth, and settling for truth, and truth, the truth within the truth, is something more, I want to say, explorative, intuitive, and honest, and genuine than anything that someone does to settle for less. You're settling for the fact that you want more, and that is okay. If you want to settle with an idea, settle with the idea, the concept, not the actual action of less. Settle with the idea of maybe I deserve more. And it's a weird kind of duality, double entendre of saying, yeah, no, I'm settling. But I'm settling for the fact that I need more, not just because I want more, but because I need to do this. It's someone's like saying, I need to do this now, I need to act and say something or be something, and just, it's this, like, I need to act in the sense of taking a step into whatever it is of priority in your life. When it comes to not only like day-to-day things, but like your like day-to-day things that reflect in your passions and in your life projects, your life's work, is what I'm hearing. And I think the 8 Cups is very much, I almost called it the 8 Pentacles, because the 8 Pentacles and the 8 Cups kind of just have this energy of like, you've worked for something, you've worked up to something. It is now for you to keep working and not to settle for where you're at now. You do not need to settle for where you're at now. Where you're at now is nowhere where you need to be. And I think you have energies that are trying to get rid of the genuineness that you have in your heart. I have to cover this part up. 5 of Wands, empowerment. So I feel like you do have a lot of like adversaries wanting the worst, wanting that disingenuous heart. And I think that's like, no matter what sort of mental health things that we have, like, I'm gonna be honest, I get a little bit of imposter syndrome, like sadness, anytime I'm on my period. That's just a reflection of like, I've noticed that over the years. I just feel like I am not myself, but I literally sit there and I'm like, I know I feel this, and I'm feeling this right now, and it's not my fault for feeling this, because it also is in reflection of other symptoms of other things. And oh, Page of Pentacles, Page of Stones, the Lynx. Ooh, and then the Hermit. Oh, you have, okay, there are people waiting and watching for you to slip up in a way that you are never going to. Like, I think there's hold on, let's wait and watch and see if Collective is going to like trip over their own shoelaces. Like I'm hearing has tried to like tie your shoelaces and like trip you up over your own shoelaces, but your shoelaces aren't even in existence. It's like you're wearing slides or flip-flops and there's no laces to be tripped over at all, and it's all in a lot of people's head. I think you are getting to people because you are just moving in your own way. You're moving to the beat of your own drum. You're not focused on all of these people and getting back at them and saying your piece, saying your truth, saying your story. Because you're not going to be willing to share your story with disingenuous people. People that are constantly screaming that you're disingenuous when in reality they don't want to actually hear both sides of the story and come to their own collective opinion. I feel like that's the thing that you can't understand. How can people just like settle for one side of the story is what you keep like asking yourself maybe, and that's what feels like the whole disingenuous energy here. But with the Page of Stones and the Hermit card, you've been waiting and watching very carefully on your own time, in the sense of, okay, is this area and land good to drink water from? There's no weird disingenuous people? Okay, I'm gonna go and intuitively check in and drink from this little river of water that you see when you're perched up on this tree. Because while I see other people in these cards, I also see yourself, and I see how you've been acting out of pure magic, and other people have been acting out of pure excess. You've been acting out of pure experience, while others have been acting out of pure excess. You're using these 5 cups to explore and explain to yourself why it's not good to move forward in certain parts of your life, in the sense of, okay, it's not good to move forward in this dishonest way. It's not good to move forward in a way that's going to make me feel like I'm settling for less. Like, it's not good to move forward for things that don't serve us. And finding that path, finding that connection to things that do serve you, and even sometimes reconnecting back to your things that make you feel yourself, that make you feel more intuitively in tune with yourself, I want to say. Because after the 5 of Cups, we literally have the 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups is literally how you are completely and utterly happy with yourself and who you are, who you become currently, and who you desire to become. Because this whole aspect of the 10 of Cups is really reflected on, this is what other people want, and what they got was not much. They wanted this grand waterfall that would fill every one of their cups, and they just got little streams of stuff. They got a little stream here, a little stream there, and you have a flood. I'm hearing of income. You have a flood of things. So I feel like, ooh, this is a weird explanation, but I feel like someone's trying to win in their heart. Someone's trying to feel like they've won because they have, oh, I have multiple little streams of income, but those streams are trickling. Your multiple streams of income are barreling into one waterfall, one flood of emotion, passion, drivenness of willpower and fire within you. I know we're talking about water, but the fire of passion. All of this hard work has flooded your entire soul into your one whole self, your one whole being. While someone's trying to get little tiny drips and drops to fill barely even half the cups that they have. They're trying to fill off of something that isn't fulfilling. Filling off of something that isn't actually going to truly allow them to live the life they want to live. Because if they actually were aware of how much they're holding back in this one giant cup here, that would send this into this waterfall whirlpool kind of energy. They'd be actually able to finally let go of something, accept the changes of life, the ebb and flow of the tides, to continue on to create the life that they want to create. And I think that's what you're doing, but you're also seeing how they're working against themselves. These people that are trying to work against you are constantly working against themselves. And it almost hurts to watch for you. Seven of Cups mourning, like you're mourning something. I think part of you is mourning the fact that you could have gotten along with people. You could have actually, like, hung out with them, like, gone to the bar, had a drink, had a nice, like, 3 a.m. conversation with them. Maybe you've had that and had those moments, and maybe you didn't. But either way, there's a situation of, like, you're mourning what could have been. You're mourning the choices of people could have actually chosen the things that were meant for them. And it's almost like everyone was like, oh, well, I can only grab one of these cups. Excuse me. I can only grab one of these cups. And you're sitting here like, wait, no, you have this giant bowl here that if you stacked all of these cups, you could take all of these things with you. All of the things that you are enjoying about life, enjoying about nature. That was my fault. I'm gonna pick that up again. I accidentally dropped the cards. That was not anything intuitive, I don't think. Because there's a lot coming out here for you that just has me very, very curious. And I think the big advice for Spirit is what I'm hearing. Biggest advice from Spirit right now is to keep it pushing. Is all I keep hearing. Keep it pushing. Because your growth is going to stagnate these people's, like, energies so much that I don't even think you're realizing how much they have been stopping and staring at you, watching, waiting, observing for the right moment to pounce, to attack, but that right moment never comes. And even if it does, the action isn't taken. They just think about it. And it's almost like someone trying to use scare tactics. Someone's trying to be this creepy little predator in the forest here, in the tree, the lynx creeping and observing, and it's almost like the lynx just staring you down while it's in the tree, and you're staring at the lynx like, all right, well, are you gonna pounce? Are you gonna say anything? Are you gonna do anything? And then it's almost like the lynx in the tree is like waiting for you to, like, attack when they've put them in this, they've put you and themselves in this scenario that puts them on the pedestal of being the predator and you being the prey. But now the predator is acting like prey to try and cry wolf, when in actuality the real people around this lynx character are going to see them for what they are. And I think there's a lot of people around them settling on their behavior. They're settling at the fact that, wow, this person, I don't like to hear this because it sounds very rude, but I'm hearing a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this person is as crazy as, like, I kind of thought, or that people were kind of saying, or maybe this person, you were right. Nine of Wands, respect. There's a respect for a process that is being broken. Whoever's been just working against you energetically has been acting against their own karma since, like, day one, is what I've been hearing. And they've been using their own energy and the energy of the universe for very, very disrespectful ways. And all that you've done has had respect for the universe. I'm hearing you don't even want to throw out your fast food in the trash if you don't eat it. You still want to give the leftover food you have to someone, even if it's just the ground that just eats it up. And I'm forgetting the word. Biodegrades in the ground, kind of a thing. You're getting the idea of, you're getting respect from the universe. Like, I think you're getting the idea of you giving respect because you've been getting respect from the universe, and you've been, I want to say, been feeling called. Like, almost like this is an ask to ask you how you can help in this moment, in this time, because you have acted out of such respect that it cannot ever be clear for these other adversaries to understand where you could clearly where they could clearly wrap their mind around being genuine, honest, respectable of nature, respectable of energy, and the fact that, yeah, what you say behind closed doors does affect your karma. Just because only one person heard it, or maybe it's all up in here, is what your adversaries are thinking. They're like, oh, well, if I'm just saying this in my head, no one will know. No one will know. Ever heard of a Freudian slip? Is what the universe is telling this person. There is Freudian slip after Freudian slip after Freudian slip that is happening here. And I think what is happening is that whenever you have what they think is a Freudian slip, if you understand what that is, it's look it up if you don't know what it is. I don't have time to explain. I'm getting that people probably understand what I'm talking about. It's like when you have a Freudian slip, it's not a slip to you. You're just like, yeah, no, this is how I feel. And you may joke about it. You may crack a little side comment of like, oh yeah, haha, silly, goofy, but yeah, no, this is actually what's going on. And this is what it is. You have people being like, see, they're disingenuous, when in reality it's like, you were just honest. you just were being like giving of honesty there, and no one really understood that. No one could really see how you could actually like explore that honesty, but in actuality they're just being dishonest to themselves about how you're doing, how you're actually in control of your life, even if you think things are feeling out of control. The Justice card, the Stag. The Justice card coming out here to kind of just confirm a lot of what we've been feeling together during this reading. You are very clear, very, very clear about what Spirit wants for you, what the universe is just calling you to do. You're very clear about your intuition. You're very clear about where you want to go and where your mission is. And if anybody wants to know, they can just ask. And I don't think that there are people going to actually want to ask. I think they're just going to have this area of wanting to ask and feeling like there's mystery around this question, this curious question that they have. And then just like this, like a scared bunny is what I'm hearing. They just run away. When we talk about the hair in this card, it's almost like you are being seen by these adversaries like a bunny, like a scared little bunny, when in reality, you're very acceptant of your nature and your power and your strengths and your weaknesses, and how you use a lot of your strengths to help guide your weaknesses into strengths. The fact that you can be so aware of your weaknesses that they become your strengths in a way that is also you, as the Queen of Wands, using your own intuitive magic to have not only this level of mystery behind you, but you're being called to do things that may not fully make sense on the outside, but it's like when someone's working on a project for so long that they constantly are like consistent in their work that they don't have time to explain what they're doing. And that's what makes it feel like people are like saying, oh, well, the collective's disingenuous, the collective is dishonest, they're immature, they're not being real, it's all just like, it's all for show, is what you're being not like accused of, but what people are placing on you. And that's where I feel like some of you gotta do some warding. I was getting it earlier, but you gotta like your wards, check your wards is what I'm hearing, check all of that. Check the energy around you and make sure that you are completely aware that this is not your energy. Like, this is not yours. The Lovers, another card of integration and self-integration. Not only just self-integration, but integration with the soul. Integration with the self. And I feel like you have people choosing to be against you and choosing to just not make a choice at all. I think the real people who are recognizing everything outside of this, like everyone that is outside of the it's like you have you had your adversaries, you have the people supporting you, and you have the people supporting your adversaries. Everyone outside of that is looking at the situation like, I don't really care because I don't know what's happening here. Because all it sounds like is one side just like screaming at the other. King of Wands. Someone trying to gain a lot of control over something that they can't. They can't gain control over it because they did not choose to free themselves. They chose to intertwine themselves in their own lies, in their own deceit, and I think they're getting caught up in their own lies even. And the truth will reign. The truth will reign over all. And I think you've been constant communication with this truth, with this cycle of truth, with this process of truth, because this process of truth has led you on a process of healing that has healed you more than you have ever imagined. You are a free King of Wands up here. You are not tied down by any other lies and deceit and things that whether it's society, the world, social media, things that like we just constantly can pick up and believe are true when they're not true. Like, you've been constantly working on how to create this clear intuition, this clear initiation for yourself, but I feel like trying to understand and come to the collective understanding of this clear intuition has been the step one in the process to move forward, to gain this level of truth that is beyond the truth itself. And if any of you have seen Full Metal Alchemist, the truth within the truth is very highlighted right now. I feel like we need one more card, and then we're going to pull from the Oracle deck and see what we got. Because what can the collective also hear for this time being? What else can they also just understand about all of this? Is there anything else that they haven't clearly understood and haven't clearly explained? What is this about clear communication? Clear communication. Dishonesty towards yourself is dishonesty towards the world, dishonesty towards the cycle, towards the path to self-awareness and evolution. You finding the key to dishonesty and unlocking it with the sense of let the floodgates open, let the truth be exposed, let the hate be exposed. I don't know if there's a level of hate for some of you, but there's a level of hate being exposed. Like, you want to gather around people around a bonfire for happy, good times, and it's almost like other people see this as a meeting place to attack you, to do work on you, to ruin parts of things that you have built up and set in stone since day one. And that's not easy to take down. So do not think that any of these people have any weight to what they do energetically, because while it may just make you feel bad on a day of, damn, I'm not really feeling like myself and I can't figure out why, I think it's time to explore how well you work on your own, because that's when you're gonna be able to set up camp, set up shop for the people who actually are deserving to be in your life right now. You can actually explore every bit of good in your life right now, because every act of creation is first an act of destruction. And I want you guys to go find the order of videos that I've been uploading these in, and please go watch the previous video before this one, because I feel like that has a great grand message for you. And I'm pretty sure if it's the one I remember, there's insane synchronicities in the cards, because I pull from 2 different tarot decks, and we pulled 2 of the same card from 2 different tarot decks, which is insane. Or yeah, no, it was there was a page and a knight card from one deck, and then I got that same page and knight card from another deck. We have the Warrior. I'm getting, don't doubt the work that you've been doing when it comes to advocacy. Now, this could just be literally on like a grander world scale, but you're advocating for a part of the self that isn't heard, that people don't really like to talk about because, oh, well, woe is me is what it sounds like. But in actuality, you're actually talking about the truth. And there's a self actualization of like, actually, it's this. Actually, being silly, acknowledging that it can sound silly to talk like that, but there's like an actuality here that is an actuality of the truth. What is underneath this card? The sword. I've never really gotten this one. I want to read this card. And on the bottom of the rest of the deck is the mentor. You're being your own mentor right now. Don't forget that student in your heart that is guided to the teacher. The teacher arrives when the student is ready or something like that. The sword, the blade, the weapon. To use the sword is to decide. The blade separates one reality from another. Let's talk about another card that has a sword. The Justice card represents that sword of decisiveness. Be very decisive about your advocacy and how you advocate for yourself, because it's something decisive. It's not something spoken. It's an action. So whatever you're doing to be your honest, true self and dedicate yourself to yourself, actions are your best effort at this moment and the key to this effort that you're putting into. The blade separates one reality from another. The choice is made and all else falls away. If you find the sword in your grasp, you can no longer hesitate. This weapon requires a clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. An onlooker may think the sword bearer is hasty and violent, but the most compassionate and responsible gesture is one that is honest, swift, and accurate. Our first encounter with the sword is at birth, when the cord we share with the mother is cut. This moment defines our separation from her and begins our journey of becoming ourself. We must make these cuts again and again if we are to grow. Decisions shape our life, and the sword is an infamous shaper of destiny. When you feel in light with this energy, you are cutting through what is essential. When in dark, you're a hasty, backstabbing, and dull and painful blade. That is the other duality that's happening here with the sword card. You have people acting out of being hasty and acting irresponsible and even violent with this. But then you have you, which you're acting out of a very clear and decisive mind and a willingness to act. You wouldn't have this willingness to act if you didn't have the warrior and destroyer cards out here. These cards are cards of willing to act, willing to see through the deceit, through the lies. Contemplate the Buddhist philosophy of the first and second arrow. Swing the sword once with precision, not permission. Maybe you need to give yourself permission. Swing the sword once with precision and commitment. More than that will be painful for everyone involved. I'm going to read that again. Swing the sword once with precision and commitment. Anything more than that will be painful for everyone involved. Boundary making, prioritizing, and clarifying are all gestures made possible by the sword. The sword is a metaphor for the pen and brush, the artist's fierce and graceful tools. You needed to hear that, and I don't know why, and I don't know where that leaves you, but I need to just end this reading because that's it. That's all that you need to hear. That's all that needs to be said. You understand the clear communication you've been getting from Spirit, and I think you just needed a little wake-up call, a little nudge, a little reminder of where you got that sword, that internal sword. Where did that come from? What memories can you go back and say, I advocated for myself. This was my sword. This was my sword, and this was my shield. And you didn't just use your shield to cower behind something. You used your shield against people who were trying to attack you for no reason, and this feels like wards. Like, if you are into your magical practice, keep putting your wards up, because I think that is helping you a lot, as to recognize, oh yeah, no, this isn't my energy. This isn't my my doing, is what it feels like. Not even your doing. It's like it doesn't feel like it's you at the end of the day. And that's the thing, that's like, that's not you making up that energy. That is definitely energy that someone's trying to place onto you. And I think you know that while intention can be very powerful, nothing is more powerful than the universe. Nothing is more powerful than karma by the hand of the universe. Good or bad. I want to thank you for listening to this reading. That is all I have for you. Thank you for being here. If you want any more tarot information or want to see any other content I do aside from tarot, there are all the fancy links down in the description. And I'm grateful to get further messages out for you, because there is a collective I'm speaking to, I can tell. And I just kind of want to continue these videos. I really enjoyed these collective videos. So thank you for being here. Thank you for just clearly listening and being very, very concise about your intuition. Because I think if you were guided and led to this video, it definitely was a little bit of a wake-up call to remind you of yourself, remind you of that sword and shield that you do hold with grace, with power, with humility. You hold a lot of humility in your heart for good reason. It's very, very humble energy, but also very direct energy to have, because you know every act of creation is first an act of destruction. Thank you for being here. That's all I have for you, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.